Today I'm canning sweet pickled peppers. When you go to a sandwich shop like Subway and they put sweet peppers on your sandwich, that's what I'm canning today. These are sweet pickles, not some vinegar tasting thing. The first thing you need to do is wash the peppers. 7 pounds of bell peppers is needed for this recipe. Red, green, it doesn't matter. I want to show you an easy way to cut the peppers so that you won't end up with seeds all over the place. Slice the pepper so that the knife is running along the inner edge of the pepper, separating the outside of the pepper from the membrane inside. I don't ordinarily show you how to cut stuff up, but this is very helpful. Think of it as peeling the pepper away from the membrane. So you end up with chunks of peppers with no seeds on them and all of the seeds and membranes intact. Of course, you can cut the bottom off and use that as well. And here's all of your waste, all nice and neat. So then I cut the peppers into strips like so, leaving the fingers. So you get the picture. So we end up with a bowl of strips with no seeds to deal with, and all of the seeds are neatly over there. Now we need to make the pickle juice. Add 3½ cups of sugar, 3 cups of white vinegar, 3 cups of water. Bring this mixture to a boil and boil it for a minute. Then add the peppers and bring it back to a boil. Okay, as you can see, the peppers are beginning to boil and now I'm ready to can. I have my jars heating right here and my lids and rings at a simmer right there. They say heating the lids and rings is optional now. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. So I'm ready to can. I take a hot jar and fill it with the peppers. I'm going to speed this video up right here because we all know what filling a jar looks like. I add a 1/4 teaspoon of dried garlic, or you could use a 1/2 clove if you're using fresh. Here's the garlic I'm using. It's just easier to do it this way, I think. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pickle crisp. The pickle crisp is optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. Also, I use twice as much pickle crisp as they say to on the jar, or else it doesn't seem to work for me. Now I add pickle juice to within 1/2 inch of the top of the jar. Remove the air bubbles. Wipe the rim of the jar clean. Add a lid and a ring and tighten it firmly. I place it in the water bath canner to stay warm until all of the jars are full. Just keep repeating until all of the peppers are used. When all of the jars are full, lower the rack into the canner. Make sure there is at least 1 inch of water covering the jars. Put the lid on and bring the pot to a boil. Once you see steam coming out from under the lid, start your processing time. I'm at sea level, so my processing time is 10 minutes for pints, but if you live at higher elevations, you need to adjust your processing time to suit your altitude. When the time is up, turn off the heat, remove the lid, and let the canner sit for at least 5 minutes. When the time is up, remove the jars and set them on a towel on the counter to cool. As the jars cool, the lids will make a popping sound indicating that the jars have sealed. The next day, remove the rings, wash the jars, write sweet pickled peppers on the top and the date that you can them. These peppers remain relatively firm. I wouldn't call them crunchy, but they don't turn to mush either. I hope you could tell what the texture is like here because I think the texture is important in the things I can. These peppers are from a jar I canned 2 years ago, by the way, and they are cold straight from the refrigerator. They really are very much like the peppers you get at a sandwich shop. And by the way, this recipe is from the USDA's website. I'll put a link in the description box. So that's how I can sweet pickle peppers. I hope it helps.